Good evening, everybody. What's happening? Welcome to the live stream. It is Adam from Proper Royals, and this is our Tuesday night Proper Royals live show. Tonight, we're going to cover everything that's been going on in the last 10 days or so in the Proper Royals world, and that does include the 2021 National Reptile Breeders Expo show, the NRBE Daytona 2021 show, which was killer. So I'm going to show you all about that, everything that I got into there. We're going to meet some of my animals. I'm going to tell you some of the things I got going on with them, show you a couple morphs, everything from some really basic stuff to one of the parents of a clutch that I have coming out in about 10 days. So I'm pretty pumped about that as well. We're going to talk about cryptocurrency and NFTs and the ball python hobby. Would you buy a ball python with cryptocurrency or accept cryptocurrency for payment? I want to tell you what I think the crypto world has to do with the future of the ball python hobby and what it's doing right now in the hobby. I got a hot take for you that I want to share, get your thoughts on, and then we'll wrap up the show with the proper topic of the week. We're going to do all that in about an hour tonight. All killer, no filler, I promise. Let's go. Let me start the intro and let's hit this thing. Are you ready? What's going on, everybody? Welcome. If we haven't met before, my name is Adam, and this channel is called Proper Royals. And this channel has been kind of the history of my family's ball python hobby and the journey from family hobby to family business. And this live stream is the next evolutionary step in that growth. So I hope you enjoy what you're doing. I hope you check out the channel. And definitely, if you're watching, please say hello, stop by. Inquiline, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Tenarian, what's up from the missing links, dude? You came. Oh, Tenarian, I wish I really had a Ric Flair gif fired up, queued up here for you. I'd give you a great big woo for hanging out. You got the best belts in the business, brother. I always enjoy following you. Those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, check out Missing Links. I believe it's aquariums and exotics, but there's a group out of Charlotte, North Carolina, and I used to live in Western North Carolina, but it's a really cool group of guys and women. I've actually gotten some really cool animals from there, but just a tight group of good folks. Now I live in Jacksonville, Florida now, but Tenarian, one of the good dudes in that group, always looking out, clearly showing up right on the start time. So thanks for being here. Inquiline, you were here on Sunday night when we did the test run, the dry rehearsal, the dry test, the dress rehearsal. And I appreciate you coming back. Thank you very, very much. Hang on here. Let's talk about this. An animal that lives in the nest, den, or sometimes even the body of another animal without harming it. Ah, very nice. You got to be kind to other people, right? You don't harm it. I like that. That's going to be a little bit of a theme tonight, believe it or not. I didn't even plan for that, but I promise that it will be. So it's been a busy week. I was going to share with you. I say a week. It's been about 10 days. Let me share a link on the screen up here real quick. And I'll take you to my channel real quick here. If you haven't checked out my channel, please do. But this is kind of what we've had going on. So the Daytona show was right in here. I got to tell you about this snake that I saw there at the Daytona show. And then, George MD was there. I had a great time with George. He was an awesome dude to me. Built a hatchling rack this week, and then I've had a bunch of content, but really my efforts have been focused on getting this weekly show off the ground. And so I'm really happy that you all are here. And those of y'all that join afterwards or even after the show airs and you watch the replay, thank you all so, so very much. I appreciate you being here on that and checking everything out. So the Daytona show, I got to tell you, the Daytona show was really cool. It really lived up to the billing. In some ways, it it almost didn't live up to the billing, but then it made it even better. And I'll tell you why. So it wasn't, everything was accessible. It wasn't super celebrity. It wasn't super like chase this guy or that woman or this, YouTube personality or this famous breeder. It was a lot of people really super into the hobby, hanging out, having a good time, and really just being ourselves among a really cool group of accepting people. And there was a bunch of people, man. I got there and the line was out the door. I mean, to say it was out the door is an understatement. It was around the building, and that's the Ocean Center at Daytona. Let me tell you how big the Ocean Center is. The Ocean Center, I saw Tom Petty live there. I saw Bob Dylan in 1998 there. I saw Brian Setzer open for him there. And in the late 90s, I saw that band live on their Throwing Copper tour. I saw them there. So this is a big, big place. And it was totally packed with reptiles and largely ball pythons. Probably 70% of the animals there were ball pythons. So while I was there, I got to hang out with, I want to show you first, I got to hang out with this crew, Leviathan Snakes. And Inquilon, you were here on Sunday night and they joined us. But some really good folks. Stephen and Courtney is their name, and they are establishing themselves in the hobby and doing just fine with it. Look, they got 5,800 followers, and I mean they're blowing up. Just the other day, it was only like 4,000. I mean they're doing a lot of the right things. Their marketing is great. Their personalities are great. I got to figure out. Sorry, I meant to share the screen, and I did not share the screen properly. Trying to give them some love on their Instagram page. So there we are. So you can see that they've got a really great looking marketing. And as you scroll down, you start to go, wait a minute, that is a sunset. And I got talking with them. I'd actually talked with them before the show and made a plan to meet up with them and hang out there. But they picked up a few more sunsets. They picked up a killer, this little clown. They picked him up at the show. So they're really doing some great things. And they've got babies coming out and babies for sale and whatnot as well. So Stephen and Courtney, got to hang out with them at the show. And then really one of the highlights for me was hanging out with this guy named George MD. And I want to share his Instagram as well and give him a little bit of marketing love and tell you a little bit of a story. And Inquilon, you're going to go right hand in hand with what we're talking about. So this guy, George MD, first off, look at these animals. Holy cow. That banana leopard was actually at the show and I got to see it, the one on the middle right over there. And then let me see if I can scroll down a little bit more. As you scroll down, this one right here is actually the coolest ball python in the world episode for August that I did. And that's on my channel as well, of course. But that was at the show. And the cool thing about George that he really got was just how to make customers feel so special. And so he took the time to say hello to me and it was this huge welcome. He was like, oh my gosh, you're the guy that did that video. And I was like, you're the guy that made the snake. And so there was this really cool moment and his niece was working the booth with him. And he said, you know what, my niece really wants to meet you. She was excited. She's into the social media stuff a little bit more than he was. And then George said to me, he says, you know what, I got to do my thing. There's people looking at the snakes here. I got to go see them. And he really got it. Like he gave everybody the time of day, gave everybody his full attention. He's just a nice, genuine dude that really gets it, is really engaging. And it was a real pleasure to work with him. We ended up filming an impromptu video that's on my page as well. It's actually called Best in Show from Daytona. But we checked out 3 of George's really hot rod ball pythons that he had there. And you could see the joy in his face, the joy in his niece's face. I had a blast. My son had a blast. And you know what? We ended up buying an animal from him. And it wasn't cheap. It wasn't inexpensive. He sold me a visual lavender het pied, and it's still in quarantine, or I'd be showing it right now. But so while I think it's good to do good things and have great customer service and be incredibly hospitable to people, it's it's good business. The guy made money off of me, and I was happy to do it. And I'm sitting here telling everybody about how happy I am that I gave the man my money. So those are the things that really kind of speak to me, and they're really kind of drive and inspire me. I spent 25 years in food and beverage, and I still am, but I'm not in the restaurants and operations anymore. I'm in a consulting role now. And it really suits me, and it suits my lifestyle right now. But I miss that customer to customer interaction, making somebody feel special. And this guy, George MD, just nails it. So show him some love on Instagram. Go check out his animals. They're just banging animals. Look at these clowns right here. Obviously, this is not obviously, this is a banana leopard orange dream clown right over here. I think that's a confusion lavender there. I mean, he's just a heavy hitter, and he's doing just some really, really cool stuff. So Daytona show was good. As far as any kind of celebrity oohs and ahs, Dave Kaufman was there. If you haven't seen his channels, go check him out. He's the guy that's DAV, no E, Dave Kaufman. Dave was cool. Obviously, he was a big attraction. A lot of people were hanging out with him, but he definitely made the time for us. And we actually had a cool moment because, like, we were just sort of standing back. He could see we were waiting to talk to him, and this lady, like super fan, was just like right straight in front of us. And he took a moment and was like, they've been kind of waiting. And I was like, go ahead kind of deal. But Dave was there. I saw a couple of the guys from Nerd there, and they were busy. There was a lot of people around them. I didn't catch up with them. I can't speak to, I'm sure they were plenty cool. No, they weren't rude or anything to me. I just didn't speak to them. But Daytona was great. Totally worth the $15 cover of admission, I would say. Next year, I will probably actually get a hotel and stay overnight and do both days of it just for the camaraderie and hanging out. I'll admit I didn't have a whole bunch of cash in my pocket that day, so it's a dangerous place to hang out when you got a credit card but no cash. So I wrapped it up and brought it home. So, yeah, Incline, I agree. Dave is amazing. He's incredibly charismatic. He knows his stuff. And I got to say, in person, he was, when he's sort of out of his on-screen character, he was very, very welcoming, nice dude. Just spent a few minutes with him. Oh, and you know what? I don't even have it in my show notes. I was amazed. I was totally impressed. I don't know his name, and I want to get him on the show as a guest. I don't know his last name. His name is John. He's the guy that invented and manages, operates, runs Morph Market. John was incredible. John was there. He paid for a booth and has a booth at the reptile show just to get people's input and feedback, his customer feedback on what he could do better on Morph Market. He was so engaging. I went up. I just wanted to tell him thanks, that I was so impressed with what he did, what he's done for the market, for the hobby. With the marketplace, the hobby has exploded in his time. And he's just this down-to-earth guy. And he says to me, well, I appreciate it, but what could I do better? And I'm like, you're just fishing to be told what you're doing wrong? And he's like, yeah, I want to know. I want to know how to fix it. I want to know how to get ideas, and I want to be there. And there he was. And even my 9-year-old son, piped up, and I was like, be quiet a little bit, Charlie. And John was like, no, I want to hear it. He's the future kind of thing. So yeah, John was really great. I am going to reach out to him and see if he'll come on and do a guest spot one Tuesday night on the show here. So I'm very excited for that. But that was the Daytona show. I had a really, really great time. Let's check out the first animal of the night tonight. To kick off looking at animals, it's always a hit to see an all-white snake. So tonight we've got a super Mojave blue-eyed leucistic. And I'm going to break him out right now. He is a male. And I'll tell you, I'm a little bit finicky about when I handle my animals. I rarely do at night because The only time I interact with them at night is when I'm feeding them. So the good news is at night, I get very good feeding responses because I'm consistent about when I feed them. That's what I recommend. Bad news is I just got to watch him, make sure he doesn't come flying out of the box expecting a rat from me. Nah, he's calm. So this guy is about 1.5 years old, and he is a male blue-eyed Lucy. I don't know how well you could see his blue eyes, and of course he's not going to sit all that well, but he's a super Mojave. He's also a visual ghost, and it's very, very difficult to tell. You can't really tell that he's a ghost because he's all white. However, on super Mojaves, their heads usually get much darker, and you can see his head stays washed out, and it's kind of that cool purple color. But what's really neat is that you could see the eye stripes kind of breaking through in that purple tone. I really love this dude. And in the right light, and when he's holding still, his blue eyes are just incredibly vivid. And this is what happens when you take 2 genes from what's called the blue-eyed leucistic complex. A lot of you probably know this, but you know what? There was a first day when none of us knew this stuff. So if you take any 2 dominant or co-dominant genes from the blue-eyed leucistic complex and you breed them together, what will it be? 50 and 25% of the offspring that get both genes will produce an all-white snake with vivid blue eyes. This just happens to be 2 doses, if you will, of the Mojave, and that produces a super Mojave. So this guy's name is Lefty Slim, which is kind of a tongue-in-cheek name. Obviously, a snake can't be right or left-handed, and almost all snakes are pretty slim. So just a fun family time inside joke among the family. He is going to breed this year. Actually, I'm going to show you one other snake then. I've got 3 I'm going to show you all night, but I'll show you another one here in just a second. I'm going to breed him to a banana female who is het ghost. So 50% of their offspring will be ghost, 100% will be Mojave because he's a super Mojave, and 50% will be banana. And of those bananas, the ones that are males will be female makers. So I'm pretty excited about that clutch. That's going to be pretty powerful breeding offspring that come out, and I think pretty valuable in the marketplace as well, to help keep the lights on and keep my own end of the hobby going and that kind of thing. So hold tight for just a second. If I can get him to sit still, let me see if I can break her out. Yeah, let me break her out as well. I'll show you the breeding pair coming up this season. So this female that I'm bringing up, she is a banana het ghost. She is 1,700 grams. Look at the size of her. She's a good sized girl. She just laid. Matter of fact, her eggs are still in the incubator. Inquilin, sorry, I just saw your comment. I was reading it there. We'll talk more about on the breeding here in just a minute then. So this girl just laid month and a half ago. Her babies will be out in another 2-3 weeks. Oh, Lefty's getting a little tight on there. Come on, boy. What are you doing? Up off of there. There he is. Come on around. So she will breed to this guy. And like I say, he's a super Mojave. So he will get all the offspring will have 1 Mojave gene from him, visual. Half of the babies will get the banana gene from her. And then because she is het ghost and he is visual ghost, half the babies will be visual ghost as well. So I'm very much looking forward to those. This girl, speaking of the missing links group in Charlotte that I was talking about earlier, I got this girl from a gecko breeder named Kara at KNC Geckos. She is fantastic, but this is just the sweetest girl ever. I don't know how well her colors show up, but there's lavenders, there's oranges, obviously the yellow, and then just that creamy, clean white belly on the bottom as well. So this girl's name is Scarlett. I call her Letty for short. She's really just a beautiful girl. So let me put these two away and we'll get on to our next topic here in just a second. So Inkline, thank you very, very much for the comment and the compliment. I appreciate you checking out the channel. So she's referring to a video that I did. It's on my channel and you can look it up. It's fairly recent. I think I've done two maybe on breeding planning, but the most recent one is really where I go through and I list each animal basically on a handwritten spreadsheet. I really like writing things by hand. It keeps me connected to them. And I write in every animal, every female on one side of the docket and every male on the other side. And on the lines, I list what the best possible outcome of their pairing would be within reason. I mean, if you have something that's only a 1 in 200 chance, it's probably not worth chasing after. But I do that for every animal, and I'm kind of a nut about it because I found I can go down rabbit holes of decision making where I've already made a decision without thinking things through. And drawing and diagramming that out forces me to think through just exactly what I want to do, what results I'm looking for, and then it helps solidify the plans that I want to make and the direction that I do want to go into. So thank you again so much for that compliment. That was just a brief synopsis of that. Like I say, if that catches your interest, go check out my channel. It is definitely on there on fairly recent. I think this is breeding plans or how I come up with breeding plans. But that's essentially it. But I take it through, I take a deep dive on that. So my middle topic today is this new world of cryptocurrency and NFTs. And if you're going, what in the world does that have to do with ball pythons? Ball pythons and reptiles in general get scrutinized. And part of why cryptocurrency has evolved is that it avoids a lot of scrutiny on transactions. And there's good and bad to that. You can do things ethically and you can do things unethically. But the thing that interests me most about cryptocurrency is the advent of this thing called the NFT or the digital NFT. And NFT stands for non-fungible token. And again, don't lose me. Don't let me lose you here. Just stick with me for just one moment. NFTs get pitched as digital art, a piece of music, a flyer, but they could be anything. And what's most important, any sort of digital information can be an NFT. What I love about NFTs and what companies that really understand this and understand the future understand is that you can code experiences into those NFTs. So for example, Taco Bell, you could buy an NFT from Taco Bell on auction that will allow you to have free tacos for the rest of your life. Well, that's pretty cool. And that's contractually in that NFT, and it is contractually recorded in the history of the internet. And the thing about the blockchain where NFTs are stored and cryptocurrency transactions are stored is that it's open software. Anybody can see who owns that at any time, and anybody can sell it at any time. So it's legitimate. So what if in our hobby, instead of Patreon, I were to sell an NFT that included experiences for the lifetime of the owner of that NFT? Maybe we have dinner at the Daytona show on me. Maybe 4 times a year, we do a mentoring business jam kind of session. What if you got first dibs on all the new animals before I hit my Morph Market store or before I post them on Instagram. And that is what has me going. And so 2, 3 months ago, I said, man, I want to be a part of this. And the way that I learn is by doing. So how am I learning live streams? I'm doing live streams live. I'm figuring it out. I did my dress rehearsal the other night. I'm sure there's bumps tonight. But I learn and I put myself into it. So check this out. What I did was I created an NFT, and I believe it's the very first ball python NFT, in the hobby. And that's not the important part. That's cool from a collectible standpoint, I guess. But so check this out. This is an NFT marketplace right here. It's called OpenSea, and it's where people can list, sell, and trade and buy and trade NFTs. And if you were to type in Proper Royals, if I could type, you would see the NFT that I created, and it's right here. And it's nothing but we took a collectible card theme. My son and I drew these two, rockets to the moon and a ball python emoji. And that's number one. And as far as I know, it's the first one in existence. And there's a price where you can purchase it flat out of 0.1 Ethereum, which is actually about $300 right now. Ethereum's up. But so coded into this in a digital contract for all time, whoever buys the very first one, dinner with Adam at the Daytona show, 4 quarterly 2-hour video conference, meeting, mentoring, jam sessions. You pick the topics, good for 4 meetings. The first, the holder of the NFT gets first access to all future sales 24 hours before any other potentials. First priority on chat access on future streams. So you can build these things into the experience. What's up, Moon? Thank you for coming over tonight. It's always good to see you, my friend. So you could build these things into the experience. And I'm not any kind of big time guy. I get that. You may or may not be interested in doing those things with me. But could you imagine a Justin Kabilka or a Brian Barczyk or a Billy doing this? This sort of thing is what can cause Patreon to become obsolete. You don't need Patreon if you're creating NFTs. And so I'm excited for those. I'm excited for what the future holds. I don't know what the future of cryptocurrency is. I don't know what the future of NFTs are, to be honest with you. But I think they're part of a future. I don't know if they're the future, but I think they're a future. And I think they're very, very interesting. And so I'm excited to see where it goes. And I'm excited to be a part of it. So if that kind of thing gets you going, we'll have I think we're going to release 4 more NFTs. I'm working with an artist right now who's going to actually do artwork for me for the NFT rather than me and the scribbling. But the first one, I wanted it to be really, really personal. So if you deal in NFTs, if you deal in cryptocurrency, let me know what you think. Am I crazy? Like, would you laugh at somebody trying to buy at a show, trying to buy an animal from you in Bitcoin? What do you think? So comment in the chat or down below. Let me know what you think on that. So my hot take for the week, I saw this great YouTube video this week, and it doesn't specifically have to do with Proper Royals, but it has to do with the customer service, the hospitality, the warmth, the interaction part of it. So this guy that I really like his videos, his name is Ali Abdal, and he's a doctor. He's a young dude. And he has a channel. This is his channel here. And I just find him insightful. He's incredibly intelligent. But this video that he did called My Most Important Weekly Habit, it's actually not even on the topic that I was going to bring up right now. But in that video, he brings up this idea that you don't need to have 1 million followers Oh, Moon, I just got your comment. You think Billy just took Bitcoins for a snake? See, I really think the example I use is 10, 15 years ago, trying to convince our grandparents that putting our credit card on the internet to pay for something was okay. It's kind of this moment right now version of cryptocurrency and Bitcoins. And I myself prefer Ethereum just because the blockchain and the tracking of the NFTs is a little stronger on Ethereum. But that's how I see it. And there's a lot of different cryptocurrencies fighting for market space right now. So they've got to sort that out. It's kind of like the electric cars right now. Tesla's in the lead, but there's some others. I suspect Tesla will probably win that in the long run. But, it was like in the early mid 90s when you could get you were either ordering CDs from BMG or from Columbia House. Like it was all similar, but they were fighting it out. I think Sony had a CD subscription program. So I'm just interested to see where it goes. And I think that it's cool to see that Billy's taking them. I actually might try and talk with him about that. So this video from Ali Abdaal that I saw, in it, he says you don't need 1 million followers. And we all know that. We don't need any of that. But from a business standpoint and from a marketing standpoint, Ali Abdaal put forth this theory that he had heard about it. He said it wasn't his. He was just sharing it. But this says you need 1,000 fans, 1,000 true fans. And how he defined a true fan was somebody who would spend $100 for your services, your experience a year. And if you can have 1,000 people that'll spend $100 for you a year, that's $100,000 of income. And you can have a very, very wonderful life doing what you're passionate about, interacting with people that are incredibly passionate about whatever you're passionate about. And you don't have to worry about the noise of the other 900,000 people that would normally make up the million. And I thought that was incredible. And I thought, to tie all this together, I thought George MD was an extremely good example of making somebody feel special, creating fans, not just customers. And these things come up all the time. We were talking with Courtney and Steven from Leviathan Snakes the other night, and they got sold something that was promised to be a het, and it wasn't. It didn't prove out of 8 animals. They should have gotten at least 4 visuals from the het pairing, and they didn't. And that's a seller that is never going to build fans. They might get the customer once, but they will never get return fans that will spend $100 or any other amount of money ever with them again. So I really thought that was a great message from that video for me to experience this week. And it really spoke to me in my business dealings and my professional job, but also with these ball pythons and building this community. It made my goals so much more attainable that I don't have to feel overwhelmed with the number of subscribers I have or don't have. I can enjoy connecting with true fans and people that I can be fans of as well and return that favor. So I really liked that idea of it. Let me show you one of my other breeder males, and let's talk about this morph for a little bit. If you got topics or content that you want to discuss, let me know. I'd love to chat with you about it. Moon, I've seen those electric Mustangs, and don't they have like an SUV or a crossover version as well? Have you driven one? I've heard they're totally silent. I've heard they're killer power. I think they even do they have a Shelby model yet? I thought I saw maybe they had invested the money on it. I'm not that much of a car guy, but I'm intrigued by business and innovation and all those sorts of things. So let me know what you know. I'm looking at the comments over on the right as well. You see me looking away. The screens are really kind of overwhelming. So my camera's here. Then there's a little status screen right here. And then here's my big monitor where is kind of my control deck where I can see chats and comments and content and all of that. So like I say, if there's anything that you all want to discuss, let me know the topics and we can hit that. In the meantime, let me get this other male and I'll tell you all about him in just a second. He's actually truly one of my favorite, probably top 2 or 3 snakes that I own. So this is my boy. I call him Johnny is our name for him. He is an Orange Dream male, and he's a breeder. He is the sire of one of the clutches in my incubator right now. He's also het pied. So the clutch that's in there was a pairing of a het pied female, and she was het albino too, double het albino het pied. And he is paired to her. And so I'm looking for some visual Orange Dream pieds. But here's Johnny is right. That's right. I really brought him out to show you off the pattern in these snakes. So the Orange Dream, you could see the vibrant colors on his sides coming out here. And what usually happens too, another really strong indication of an Orange Dream is that clean orange at the tail there. That last, 10, 20% of the snake stays really, really clean right in here. The pattern doesn't come all the way down. And then if you're ever looking for het pied markers, this snake is an excellent example. See how they just get black on the bottom there, almost like Chris Hardwick puts it really well. Like somebody took a Sharpie and just drew on either sides of the bottom of the tail. You can see that. So Johnny is actually not quite 2 years old. He's a pretty voracious eater. All my snakes eat frozen thawed, and he's no exception. So he eats a frozen thawed small rat every other week, except for when he's breeding, and which I've actually already started pairing him this year. And so he'll eat every week. But this is what I think is just a great example of an Orange Dream. There is a debate, a theory, a question of if there's more than one Orange Dream gene or line. So, Ozzie Boyd's really pushes the idea that there's a high intensity line, and there are definitely snakes with variable intensity. I don't doubt that for a second. I don't know if they're within the same gene or the lines can cross, because you'll see offspring from the same clutch have varying degrees of brightness and intensity and coloring. And as they get older, it just gets brighter and brighter. In person, this side is more of an orange creamy color. I think it looks kind of yellow in the light right now. Plus I got the purple behind me and the camera's trying to focus and all that. But it really brings out the oranges. I love it. I love what it does in pied. I love what it does with albinos. This guy will go to a lavender albino next year. She's not quite big enough, but I definitely want to get lavender hets or Orange Dream lavender het offspring. And he eats well. He breeds well. He's a nice snake. No worry with my family. You can see he's pretty calm around his head and all of that. And certainly no concern of safety with this guy. And I wish, I'll put it up on Instagram at some point, but I got to show you his eyes. His eyes are just gorgeous in person. So that is Johnny, my Orange Dream het pied. And like I say, I should have here in about 2 weeks, I'll probably list, they'll need to eat before I sell them, but I'll probably go ahead and list or share the clutch of Orange Dream het pieds and pieds. So I saw a bunch of people just join. Come give a comment, say hello. Let me know any topics you want to discuss. This is an all things ball python show. It can be about the community, the business, what we see going on, some of your favorite brands in the industry. Let me know. We can discuss the topics. So I'm going to put Johnny away for now. He's the last snake I'm going to show you all tonight. So this is the Orange Dream breeder here. So my last, let me grab a glass of water here. My last show notes topic that I thought I would bring up and share and discuss with y'all is to get your thoughts. This is the what I call the proper topic. I want your feedback. I love your interaction. You can chat in the comments or leave comments afterwards down below if you're watching the replay. And I had an interaction with one of my customers this week. There's a guy I've done business with, and he wants to buy one of my mature females, and he wants her for breeding season in the next six, 8 weeks or so. And I asked him, I said, well, what are your pairing plans? And he said, well, I don't have any males up to size just yet. He said, I wish I did, but I've got to wait another year, but I want to go ahead and get the female. And I said, oh, that's cool. And it dawned on me, he's a good dude. He's just starting out, again, with kind of the theme of the show of being hospitable and caring towards customers and creating a great experience. I just asked him in passing, I said, hey, would you be set up to have, to be able to care for babies and hatchlings if you could have some this year? And he says, what are you talking about? And I said, well, I'll pair her for you if you want. And it was this really just cool moment. He was like, wait, really? He goes, what are you thinking of pairing her with? I said, well, I got this great Orange Dream, and he's het pied. So you would have some potential hets, and you would have 50% Orange Dreams that would come out. And, it wouldn't cost you anything. I won't charge you any more for it. And so my question is, my hot topic is, if you're selling, would you pair a snake for somebody? And if you would you charge them? What premium would you charge? What downside do you see of it? Because I really don't see a downside. It's early in the breeding season. My guy is going to eat. Hey, Kara, how are you? It's so good to see you on here. I just had your old girl Letty out. I'm going to bring her out so you can say hey to her. Shoot me a note, Kara, if you want to come on as a guest, and I'll send you a link if you do want to. Okay. Just let me know in the comments. I'll bring out Letty in just a second. So would you pair a breeder for somebody? And if you would you charge them? And if you were a customer, would you see that as an added value or a greater value added to your purchase or to influence your purchases? So let me know your thoughts. Let me know what I'm not thinking of. Am I taking a risk? Am I hindering my sales potential? What if this guy falls through? Now I got to disclose to other buyers that she's been paired this year with an Orange Dream and a het pied. So discuss. Let me know your thoughts. I appreciate you hearing me out. So yeah, Kara, I brought out Letty. I'm going to bring her back out for us so you can see her. Look how good she's doing. I think Kara, she laid not 6 weeks ago, and look how thick she is already. She's been eating like crazy, and she's still just as sweet as ever. Look, hand under her head and that kind of thing. She's staying super sweet, and she gets a lot of attention at the house here. So Kara and I think we met in the Missing Links group, but I might have caught up with you on Craigslist. I can't remember. She had a couple females listed for sale, and I just got in touch with her. I hope it was good business. I thought it was really good business. I ended up buying both mature females from her, and actually both of them bred and laid this year, and their babies are coming up. Kara, sorry, I got a calendar over here is why I'm looking over here. Monday the 13th is when Letty's clutch is due to hatch. So I will tag you in pictures when those babies come out. I'll make sure that you get to see them. And if you ever decide you want to get back into ball pythons, let me know. I absolutely owe you. She has been just a gem of a sweet female girl. So, Incoline, you asked, how long have I been breeding? Did I start with babies or did I buy breeder ready ball pythons? So the answer is actually not very long. The clutches that are in the incubator are my first self-produced clutches. So I'm really excited. I'm going to find out how well, look at her. Going to find out how well everything's going. My collection, I started with a male and a subadult female, and then actually I ended up I bought this mature female from Kara and one other, and then I picked up one or two other mature females, and then this year, and I really focused on looking for deals on subadults. You still have to wait a year. If you could buy a yearling or a 1.5-year-old snake within a year, then, once they're up to size and they're healthy, and various ones eat at different paces. So you never know how they're going to go. But then you can start breeding within a year of those growing up. And that really, from a business standpoint, has kind of been my play. So this year I only bred two mature females, but this coming season, which I've actually already started pairing for this season, I think I'm going to have 11 females. So we'll really kind of hit our stride this season. And then when these eggs holdbacks, the males are large enough to breed, which will be for the following a year from now, they'll go in. So that late 2022 season. The advice for new people is I don't have a whole lot other than a few basic things that I really believe. One is be passionate about what you're doing. If you're only doing it to make a quick buck, or if you think it's just simply a quick business play, it ain't. I know some very close people that I've spoken with that have spent an incredible amount of money. And I mean, I'm talking, I bet they're close to 40, 50,000, and they just now got their first clutches. Just be careful. You could go broke. You're not going to make fast money. Now they'll eventually make their money back, but that's going to take a long time to do so. So be passionate about what you're doing. Do it for the reasons of your care and your love for, whether it's the community, whether it's the snakes, whether it's all the business wrapped into it, all those things we were talking about. And then I'm a really, really impatient person by nature. I actually seek things out in my life that force me to slow down and be diligent. And ball pythons do that to me. You cannot rush with them. You have to be patient. And I love that. I need a little bit of restraint in my life. Left to my own devices, I would have a pretty addictive personality, or I do have a pretty addictive personality. So I love slowing down. I love coming to work on the snakes at night. I love that you got one shot a year per female. A year is a long time to sit and wait patiently. The eggs laid, and there's 60 more days after the eggs lay, after you've been breeding for 5 months. So the patience that it takes is incredible. And it just makes me appreciate them all the more. As far as advice on what to buy and what to pair, there's as many business models and plans and ideas as there are people in the industry. My thought was to maximize my value buying subadult females. I thought that the intersection of value and how quick I could get a return was at the highest point buying subadults. and then just try and buy from good people. Thankfully, people like Kara I crossed paths with. I didn't know her, and but I'm glad that I do now. And by the way, everybody, if you're into geckos, holy cow, go see KNC Geckos. They are phenomenal, and Kara is just one of the nicest people that I've ever done business with and followed up with after. Seriously, it's totally true. So, what to buy? Like I say, I liked looking for value in subadults where I could start breeding. And then after that, just buy whatever gets you going that you're not going to fall out of love with. I love recessive genes. So I actually don't have a whole lot of dominance and co-dominance, but I have a ton of, relative. I've got 18 snakes all told, but all but one or two have either a het or are a visual recessive. So like this girl is banana, but she's also het ghost. The Mojave, Super Mojave, he's visual ghost. The Orange Dream, he is het pied. So I'm playing the long game on my investments. You can get hets for much cheaper. Ghosts are a great value, but then every now and again I do cough up the cash. I bought a visual lavender albino male at the Daytona show, and I've got a lavender female. I've got a candy female as well. And like I say, once some of those come out of quarantine, I'll start sharing those. So, Inkline, thanks for your comments. Thanks for being a really active part of the show tonight. Kara, if you're still out there, thank you so much for stopping by. Your girls are doing fantastic. Maybe I'll show off Percy on next Tuesday at 8 p.m. So I want to tell you all, thank you. Keep it right here on the Proper Royals channel. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I'm looking forward to next week. I made a promise to myself that I wouldn't linger longer than my welcome, and I have used up my show notes. So I want to say thanks. I will see you next week. We'll do it every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Those of y'all that hung out, especially Inkline tonight, Moon over Miami, it was awesome to see you. KNC Geckos, go check them out. Show Leviathan Snakes, George MD Reptiles some love. And if you really want to go crazy, go check out my NFTs at OpenSea.io. Those links are in the description. Thank you very, very much. I will see you all next time. We're going to hit this intro for the outro one more time. Thank you. Cheers. See you next time.